What do you call someone who has lied and ruined the career and life of their former partner? Yup, Amber Heard. Although she has basically ruined her own career, it seems like it will be impossible for her to ever restore what she once had, as the majority of the public despise her. Hello everyone, I'm Melanie with InformOverload, and today we're going to be talking about 10 reasons why everyone still hates Amber Heard. But before we begin, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. For our number 10, we have previous arrests. I actually didn't know about this one, but Amber in the past has actually been arrested for the exact same thing she claimed Johnny did to her. That's right, in September of 2009, Amber was arrested for alleged domestic harm against her former partner. Amber dated photographer Tasia Von Ree between 2008 to 2012, and just a year after their relationship started, Amber was arrested. According to TMZ, the two got into an argument at the Seattle Tacoma International Airport, and that's where Amber allegedly struck her then girlfriend. Amber was then arrested and booked for misdemeanor domestic harm, but the prosecutors declined to move forward, and the supposed reason was because both women lived in California. However, after this incident, Van Ree actually told people this incident was over-sensationalized before labeling the officers as not accepting towards the two women being in a relationship, and added they were misogynistic. But guess what? The arresting officer had a Uno reverse card moment as it was revealed her name was Beverly Leonard, and even posted onto Facebook sharing she is too a part of the LGBTQ+ community, and says she was definitely not misogynistic either, before adding the arrest was made because she witnessed the incident as they were in a domestic relationship. And for number 9, we have hypocrisy. When you're alleging something as serious as physical harm, you definitely don't want the tables to turn onto you. Well, this is exactly what happened to Amber, as it seems like the whole world was against her. It's obviously not a good trait to be attached, as no one wants to be known as being a hypocrite, but this whole situation was a very serious matter, which makes it that much worse. As much as she claims Depp was the only or main person in the relationship inflicting emotional and physical pain, evidence continued to prove Amber was not as innocent as she presented herself to be. And in June of 2022, an article by The News was released where it discussed how fans of the Pirates of the Caribbean star were labeling Amber as a hypocrite because she claimed she wasn't able to pay him the $10 million in damages, but was pictured getting out of a private plane. I got curious and googled the average cost to rent a private plane per hour, and it can cost anywhere between $2,000 to $14,000, which is still not $10 million, but I mean, I would at least assume Amber would be trying to save her money instead of renting out a private jet. And for number 8, we have You're Fired. This was originally Donald Trump's job on his reality show, but it is exactly what Jason Momoa allegedly tried doing to Amber. If you don't know, the two worked together on the Aquaman movie, and as the second one is about to be released on December 22nd, well, according to a report from Variety, Jason Momoa actually tried to get Amber fired from the movie due to the lack of chemistry between the two actors. In fact, Depp's fans paid the court fees for the release of the documents from Heard's therapist, Dr. Don Hughes. It described a hostile Aquaman set where allegedly an intoxicated Jason dressed up like Johnny Depp and pushed to have Amber removed from her role as Mira. The therapist's notes read, "Jason said he wanted me fired," before adding he was intoxicated late on set, dressed like Johnny, and had the rings on too. However, a DC spokesman denied this even happened, and another anonymous insider spoke to Variety and claims that Jason works hard and likes to have a drink once in a while, but is still professional and never showed up on set intoxicated. This is also crazy, but Warner Bros. And James Wan, the director, actually decided to drop Amber not because of the whole trial, but because of the lack of chemistry. So why did they hire her again for Aquaman 2? Well, according to various reports, the Tesla man himself, Elon Musk, who was Amber's former partner, sent a scorching hot letter to Warner Bros. Which threatened to burn the house down if she wasn't brought back as Mira for the sequel. And for number 7, we have a jar of dirt. During the couple's time in court, the topic of substance usage was often brought up, but it was one of Amber's claims that was kind of just funny. In court, she claimed Johnny owned a jar filled with a special type of powder. Not the powder you set your face with, but the one that the substance is often used by many stars. While Depp whispered to his legal team because he was confused. In fact, the jar she claims was filled with substances was actually dirt. This entire occurrence was quickly shared online, as many recognized the similarities between this court incident and one of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies where Johnny's character Jack Sparrow sings that he's got a jar of dirt. For number 6, we have Kate Moss's testimony. This supermodel who dated Johnny in 1994 to 1998 actually had to take the stand and testify after Amber claimed the model was once a victim of Johnny, as she insinuated that he once pushed Kate down a flight of stairs. Well, what did the model have to say? She said Johnny never pushed, kicked, or threw her down any stairs. But the incident that was questioned was while the two stars were vacationing in Jamaica. As they were leaving the room, Johnny left before Kate. But as soon as she left, she slipped down the stairs and hurt her back and screamed due to the pain and shock. Johnny ran back to help her and carried her to the room and got her medical attention. Very different picture than what Amber painted out. For number 5, we have fake bruises. Amber claimed Depp threw a phone at her in 2016, which left her face with a bruise, but several parties actually refuted this. Time reported some witnesses claimed they saw Amber practicing fake punching with her sister, and Depp's neighbor and childhood friend Isaac Barach was also testifying, and he said he saw Amber shortly after this incident where she was showing him her face for evidence. But when he looked closely, he didn't see any cuts, bruises, swelling, or even redness. The police officers that were also at their home that day failed to see any visible marks on her, which caused a lot of people to speculate if the bruises were even real. Amber's attorney Elaine Redhoft argued that Amber was a master of covering her bruises with Milani Cosmetics all-in-one correcting kit. But the makeup brand Milani themselves debunked this on TikTok as they posted their records showing their correcting kit launched in 2017, which would mean in 2016 Amber was definitely not using that product as it wasn't even released. And for number 4, we have left the country. Well, following the trial, it was pretty much all over for Amber as it seems like the entire public hated her and no longer trusted a word she said. To add to this, because of the public trial, many members of the public were able to make decisions themselves if they still supported the actress or not. But because she was and is still very disliked, she's pretty much been blacklisted from Hollywood as no one wants to hire her. She also probably has swarms of paparazzi or just people approaching her, so she fled the country. According to sources that are close to her, they claim she moved to Madrid and is bilingual, which allows her to speak Spanish and enjoy her life there. She also moved there with her daughter Unag Page to maybe raise her away from the Hollywood spotlight. But if she was as innocent as she claimed to be, this would be a bad look as she took off after being caught. This occurred nearly a year after the very publicized trial, so many believe she wants to take the time away. Whether it's a permanent move away from Hollywood or just a little break, only time will tell. And for our number 3, we have former assistant claim. Depp's legal team called Amber's former personal assistant, Kate James, to testify against her former boss. This pre-taped video was played in court in April of 2022, where Kate said she worked for the actress from 2012 to 2015 and claimed she was repeatedly harmed. According to Daily Mail, Kate recalls several instances in which Amber would allegedly yell at her in rage as well as face tons of harmful text messages through the day and night. Apparently the text didn't really make sense as Kate believes Amber just needed someone to lash out at, which was any time Amber felt like, including at midnight. And in one instance, Kate claims she once asked for a raise and Amber got up from her chair, put her face 4 inches away from Kate's, and said how dare she for asking the salary she wanted to receive, and even spat in her face. And it didn't stop there as her mistreatment towards her former assistant also extended to Kate's family, including her sister and mother. But Kate also described Johnny as a total southern gentleman who she never saw lose his temper. For our number 2, we have damage towards victims. One important note many took while the whole thing was going down was that Amber was not helping victims of harm at all. She portrayed herself as a victim for years, for it to be revealed she may have not been as innocent as she once seemed. This is extremely damaging for those who are actually in harmful relationships where they fear for the safety of their own lives. In fact, there are plenty of forums online of survivors from previous relationships who have shared their opinion. One user described how a real victim who was scared of her life wouldn't be asking for $50,000 a month. I mean, your whole life's on the line. There's no way someone in that position would even have the power to ask for something such as money. Not only did Amber ask Johnny for his money, but also for the house, car, and their dogs. The same user described the pain a survivor faces even after they get out of the relationship, and if charges do happen, the survivor often wants a quick trial to get it over with in order to prevent themselves from holding on and thinking about their past experience. But instead, Amber's face was plastered for the whole world to see. Every single news outlet was talking about it, and you could not escape the story even if you tried. I mean, we are still talking about this to this day, and I'm sure this won't be the last. Plus, this user shared vulnerable aspects of trying to heal. Once the relationship was over, which was a whole journey, as she feared dating again and having this happen to her once again. But Amber was able to quickly jump from relationship to relationship even while she claims to be stuck in an extremely harmful one. In general, Amber painted a bad image for those who have escaped or unfortunately still in these relationships. And in our number 1 spot, of course, we have the recordings. Disagreements can often be a he said she said situation, but in court the juries must be on the same page as the legal teams try and defend their client. However, when evidence is presented, this is far more convincing as it is actual proof. At first, Depp was thought to be the main alleged aggressor, but the public's perception began to shift once the audio recordings from 2015 were obtained by Daily Mail 5 years later in February of 2020, which Amber appeared to admit to physically harming Depp. In this first recording, heard, I know, a little confusing, but viewers could hear the actors talking about the incident that occurred the night before, in which Depp claimed she punched him. She says, "I'm sorry that I didn't hit you across the face in a proper slap, but I was hitting you, it was not punching you." And in the second audio, it appeared like Amber was trying to taunt her partner at the time, as she is heard asking if anyone would even believe that a 115-pound woman attacked him. Quote, "You're going to get up to the stand, you're going to get up on the stand, Johnny, and say she started it, really?" And in a mocking tone, she continued by saying, "You can please tell people that it was a fair fight and see what the jury and judge thinks. Tell the world, Johnny, tell them, Johnny Depp. I, Johnny Depp, a man, I'm a victim too of domestic harm." Do you think Amber is ever gonna make a comeback to Hollywood? Who knows, maybe she'll switch platforms onto TikTok and dance to songs and do makeup transitions. Apparently she's good with using concealer, right? Well, we have made it to the end of today's video, and I would love to hear all your thoughts below. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you made it this far, and I'll be sure to see you next time.